All right, guys, so we have some roster news to go over this morning, just one day after the Green Bay Packers trimmed the roster down from 90 players to 53 players. The following day, obviously, a lot happens. Over 1,200 players were released by NFL teams yesterday, and most of them are subject to waivers. So today, the Packers have claimed one player off waivers, but also lost 3 players off waivers, tying for the most amount in the NFL with the San Francisco 49ers. So in today's video, we're going to go over the 3 players they lost in waivers, as well as the player they claimed during waivers, and also a quick update on so far who's on the practice squad, which will be finalized most likely tonight. Also, guys, all my content is now in audio form wherever you listen to your podcasts. Simply search up Basaraski Productions and I will pop right up. Also, a quick reminder, just a few days left to enter in this signed Lynn Dickey Green Bay Packers away jersey here. Thank you to Sleeper. The way you enter is download Sleeper with the link down in the description and make a first-time deposit with code BASS. You'll get that deposit matched and be entered in this giveaway. I'm also starting a pick'em pool on Sleeper. I'm going to put the link down in the description for that as well. It's completely free to enter. Come join the pick'em pool. Make your picks every single week of which team will win or lose. And the top 3 on the leaderboards at the end of the season, I will be giving away certain Packers items too. So you guys want to get in on it. It's completely free and you could end up winning some signed Packers gear. Again, link down in the description for both to enter in this giveaway, as well as join the pick'em pool. All right, so first let's go over the player that the Packers have claimed this morning during waiver periods. The Packers have claimed a kicker, Brayden Narveson, most recently with the Tennessee Titans. So the Packers adding 2 Tennessee Titans or ex-Tennessee Titans players in the last couple of days. And I was kind of wondering if this was going to happen. He was one of the better kickers this entire preseason. Now they need to make a corresponding move. That has yet to be announced yet. I'm wondering if it's going to be a straight swap, just releasing Greg Joseph and signing Brayden Narveson, or they're going to give both of these kickers the next week or so to win that spot. Or they really could go into week 1 with 2 kickers on the roster. Not sure if they do that, but Brayden Narveson, a rookie this season from NC State, has been impressive this preseason. He has a field goal percentage this preseason of 85.7%. He went 6 for 7, as well as 2 extra point attempts, which he made both. Narveson was a 5-year college kicker, but mainly a 4-year starter. He started at Iowa State in 2019, then transferred to Western Kentucky for 3 years, and then most recently last year was with NC State. Throughout all 5 years, Narveson was 71 of 91, so a 78%. But what's most intriguing about Brayden Narveson, when you take a look at his stats, this guy has never missed an extra point in at least college and NFL. I'm not sure about his high school stats. He has literally never missed an extra point. That is insane. I don't know if I've ever seen that from a 5-year college kicker going into the NFL, and he's only attempted 2 this preseason, but he made both. But in college, he was 196 out of 196. And we know how many missed extra points happened last year at the foot of Anders Carlson. So that much is very intriguing, not to mention he was an 85% kicker this preseason. And his preseason kicks are impressive as well because it includes a 59-yard make, and his only miss was a 58-yarder. Personally, I like this kicking signing more than any this entire offseason, and I really like the potential of Narveson, and I feel like he should be our week 1 kicker. Might be jumping the gun here, maybe a little bit biased just because I'm looking at the preseason stats, and they're just way better than Anders and Greg Joseph, way better percentage, and he's never missed an extra point. But that's all intriguing stuff for a kicker, and bringing a rookie in like this, who played very well in preseason, I think it's our best bet. All right, so now going over the other waiver claims around the NFL, and typically not many of these happen. Over 1,200 players are released, and normally maybe one of your players gets claimed to another roster. This year, 3 players were claimed to other rosters, and we'll start with the first one. The New York Giants have claimed Anthony Johnson Jr., the safety that we released yesterday, in favor of Zane Anderson. This one's the hardest pill to swallow, in my opinion, because I was so high on Anthony Johnson Jr., even though we drafted 3 safeties. You know, I'm extremely high on Bullard, Williams, and Katana Ladapo. I love those 3, and I think they're going to transform this safety room. But I still liked having the depth of Anthony Johnson Jr., and I didn't think he was a bad special teamer either. Sure, is Zane Anderson a more renowned special teamer? Yes, he definitely is, and that's why he's remaining on this roster. Did the Packers probably think Anthony Johnson Jr. would clear waivers and they could simply put him on their practice squad and call him up if they needed him on certain weeks due to injury? Yeah, that was probably also true, but that's not the case. The New York Giants have signed Anthony Johnson Jr. to their 53-man roster, and this one definitely hurts. I did a film breakdown on him last year after being a 7th-round pick, showcasing his potential. I really liked him. I thought he had a good training camp. Obviously, that last preseason game was his best this entire offseason, and he still got cut, and now he'll have a chance to compete over there in New York. The next one is also a bit painful. The Miami Dolphins have claimed wide receiver Grant DuBose. This one's less painful just because the amount of depth we have at wide receiver, and Grant DuBose, if he made the roster, would be at maximum the 6th guy. And if the Packers kept 7, he would have been the 7th wide receiver. They decided to keep Malik Heath over him, which I understand. I understand why that happened. He has 1 year under his belt in the Packers offense. He played in games. He's a great run blocker. Throw him right into the mix and he can make some plays, and he's also a good special teamer. But in my opinion, Grant DuBose did outperform him this training camp, this preseason. I feel like he made more splash plays on special teams. I feel like he made more splash plays in training camp. I feel like he made more splash plays in the preseason games, but the Packers didn't see it that way. Even though they spent a 7th-round pick on him the year prior out of Charlotte, they decided to release Grant DuBose. And again, I think similarly to Anthony Johnson Jr., probably thought they'd be sitting here this morning going, okay, let's sign him back to our practice squad. That's not the case. Grant DuBose signed with Miami. The final one, we're just going to get over this real quick. Royce Newman signed with Tampa Bay. That's fine. That's cool. As I'm making this video, just more news keeps popping up and popping up. Here we have a tweet saying an in-division change of teams. Former Packers wide receiver Samori Toure is signing with the Bears practice squad per source. So, I mean, he can probably see the depth in the Packers room and be like, okay, what's it going to do for me to go to the Packers practice squad? Like, will I even get called up once this season? Will I make the roster next year? Probably not. So I understand this move for Samori. Like, this makes sense. The Bears, wide receiver room also stacked, but through 1 through 3. Like, Samori could definitely be the 5th or 6th wide receiver in that room, be their punt returner, which they kind of had some questions about that right now. So I understand this move for Toure. It still sucks because I really like him, or at least I used to a lot, and I had high hopes for him, and now he's a Chicago Bear. I feel like this always happens. There's just players that the Packers, move on from. St. Brown, Toure, Tunyon, all these guys, and they always end up as a Bear, a Lion, or a Viking. One man's trash is another man's trash. But the Packers had 3 players claimed. That's actually crazy because only 26 total players were claimed this morning out of 1,200, and 3 of them were Green Bay Packers. Like I said, tying the 49ers with 3 players claimed, usually a signal of a very deep roster. That basically means you had about 56 players that would make any other 53-man roster, which is impressive. As for the current practice squad tracker, and this is updating as the time goes by, there'll probably be a couple more players listed on this by the time this video uploads. I'm going to make a video later when it's finalized, when we have all 16 or 17 players on the practice squad. But as of right now, there are 4 that are confirmed coming back to the Green Bay Packers practice squad. Tight end Messiah Swinson, defensive tackle James Esther, quarterback Sean Clifford, and running back Ellis Merriweather. So we got that news yesterday that Sean Clifford would make the practice squad over Michael Pratt, and I saw a lot of things going around that maybe Michael Pratt wasn't a great locker room guy. I saw the clip of Adam Stenavich kind of talking about him, and it didn't look great. And, if you go back and watch that, it seems like an obvious tell that Michael Pratt wasn't going to make the roster, but that's hindsight. So maybe he didn't have a great attitude, probably didn't know the playbook too well, whereas Sean Clifford, knows the playbook, has a year in the system, has the experience, could step in, say, week 2 if the Packers needed a quick quarterback to play. Like if Jordan Love suffered a concussion of that sort. Like I believe they would actually put Sean Clifford in early on before Malik Willis until they get Malik Willis up to speed and start to develop him the way they would like. They know Sean Clifford can at least go out there, call the plays, get the plays ran, and whatnot, and they probably didn't feel that way about Michael Pratt. Messiah Swinson, I thought it'd be Joel Wilson on the practice squad. They still might bring him in. Haven't heard much about Messiah Swinson all offseason, but maybe a decent blocking style type of tight end. James Esther, I expected back on the practice squad. This one makes sense. And Ellis Merriweather makes sense. I thought Nate McCrary would be the running back they'd bring back. Maybe they bring back both, considering they only have like 3 running backs in that room. I thought they'd also claim a running back and a tight end. They haven't done that yet. I'm sure they'll add outside talent to running back room and tight end, at least in this practice squad, as we'll see the next 12 players get announced here shortly. But that does it for this video. Just wanted to go over the 3 players that were claimed from the Green Bay Packers roster cutdown days yesterday, as well as the 1 player they claimed. Very intrigued for kicker Braden Narvison. And then also some other news, the practice squad players, Samori Toure signing with the Bears practice squad. Just want to keep you guys updated. Go down, click subscribe if you want to stay updated. Turn on the post notifications so you don't miss any of the videos. Again, there'll be more today going over the practice squad once that's finalized. But I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.